Hello, this is Danny. I'm just going to quickly show you how to kind of live loop into Koala. There are issues, but I use it actually more for inputting perfectly timed loops than I do live looping as such. What I've got here is in AUM, I've got a drum machine that's going into bus A, and bus A is going into Koala. Then in Koala, I've got monitoring on. And then I've got Koala being triggered by Helium, and Helium is here. So now what I've done is these pads from bottom left up are chromatic from C3. But the nice thing about Helium is you can make your own templates. So what I've got here is just 16 channels for bank A, starting from A1 to A4, which is the bottom row, and then A2 to A4, etc. So what you need to do is you can just play the track, and then I've just made up some weird. So you want this to be in sync. Okay, so say I want to capture this, but I want to capture a perfect loop. I'm going to go to the beginning and hit loop, which doesn't do anything until you actually create a loop. So I'm just going to drag my finger along the top. If you want a 1, 2, 3, 4, doesn't matter. The length doesn't matter. So let's record a 2-bar loop onto pad A1 so it can be playing. And then what I need to do is just draw a note, because I've got hold to record off, which is in here. Hold to record is off. So I just turned loop on because I had it off. I only need to put in one note and then it will play back. So, well, not play back, but it will start recording. So if I put a note here, now it's started recording. As it loops around, it will stop recording. But it's not actually playing yet until it goes round another time. And now, because I didn't do a long length and this isn't set to one shot, it's not going to work. So you can either, if you want to do a live looping kind of thing, you need to put hold off and one shot by default. Otherwise, what you can do, if I delete that again, so turn monitoring in again. You don't actually have to have monitoring on necessarily. You could have it coming through the master, but with monitoring on, you can turn monitoring off. So here you see an example of an issue. Bottom left pad is now stuck. I can't tap it directly in Koala. I can tap it in Helium, and that unsticks it. So with a live looping situation, you kind of don't want that to happen. And then kind of get stuck if you're trying to stop and start stuff without using Helium. But I still use this method to actually record perfect loops. So if I go and play again. Okay, so I've got until the loop starts to actually draw a note in the right length. And now it's recording. Next time it's recorded, it's finished, and then I can turn the monitor off. So now it's no longer using this. This loop is pretty much perfect. So then you can continue to load different instruments if you want. So you say you load up a Magalan or whatever. Still loading. Okay, so let's put the keyboard on for that. And we need to turn monitoring back on. And then say I want that on, well, it doesn't really matter, but I'll put it on A2. So that recorded. And now I can turn monitoring off. And then you can just obviously arrange it. You want that to loop. why is that not loop? Okay, so this is another issue. When you've got an external thing, this is really a Koala issue more than anything. But when you've got an external MIDI controller controlling Koala, if you try to change what note you're editing and it gets triggered by an external source, it messes things up. And the same with sequences. You'll see here, if I do a sequence within Koala, so let me delete these, and then I've got, let's say we want that one to play for the full 2 bars, and then, oh, actually this is 1 bar. Oh well, doesn't matter, right? So let's see what happens here. Okay, so that's all good. So the problem is, if I want to edit this, if it's okay, so I've got sequences here. So this is sequence 1 and sequence 2. So let me play sequence 1 for a bar, sequence 2 for a bar. So you'll see it's swapping the sequences, right? So the thing is that if I want to edit sequence 2, if while I'm doing this, it swaps to sequence 1, which it has, and I can't see, so this is going to be different to sequence 1, right? Now if I exit, you'll see it's changed sequence 1 as well, because while sequence 1 is triggered, it's taking the notes in from sequence while I'm editing sequence 2. So basically, I wouldn't necessarily trust this in a live environment where you want to know what's going on, because if you want to tweak loops or tweak sample volumes even, if the sample is changed while you're doing that, it will change the sample that's actually triggered. Or actually, what you would have seen before is that it's changing the actual sample on the screen. See, so now I can't actually grab or edit one of those. If I'm doing the volume down on what I thought was the second one, it's actually doing them both, because it's changing which sample I'm controlling in real time from the external thing. So it's a difficult thing to kind of get your head around for a live looping situation. I think as far as actually editing stuff within Koala, I've used it with a lot of success to actually just grab samples, and I use Helium to sequence a combination of notes and sequences. You just have to remember not to edit stuff while it's playing, or certain stuff, especially like once you get to know the quirks of it. But yeah, you basically don't want to fiddle within Koala while an external sequencer is playing, otherwise you'll start losing sequences and start losing work. So hope that was helpful, and let me know if you have any questions. Cheers.